Do you know what this is? Well, stay tuned, and we're not only going to tell you what it is, but we're going to show you how to turn it into a delicious meal.
Hi, I'm Debbie.
And I'm Courtney.
Welcome to the home of Almost Vegan Cooking School. Today, I'd like to introduce you to one of my favorite family meals. These are vegan carnitas. And the meat this time is coming from tempeh. Now, tempeh may be a product that you're not familiar with, or a food, I should say. These are a couple of the packages that you may see in the grocery store. And this is something that we are going to marinate to really bump up that flavor.
And I like tempeh because it's actually one of the least processed vegan meat substitutes. It's really just 3 easy ingredients. There's fermented soybeans, which you can still see right in the tempeh block here, and brown rice and water.
Now, when you're shopping for tempeh in the store, you may notice some of the blocks are going to be darker in color than others. And that is just the fermentation process that's going on with the tempeh. So it really is often where the flavor is coming from. Now, tempeh is originally from Indonesia, and it was made right in the home kitchen, often with a family recipe, and even wrapped in banana leaves while it was fermenting.
And today we're going to prepare our tempeh by cutting it into 1/2-inch blocks or cubes. And you may have also seen tempeh served as crumbles, which is another option. But today we're going to use the cubes so that our tempeh and our carnitas have a meaty texture. Now that we have our tempeh all chopped, we're going to start preparing the marinade.
And the marinade is really simple. It's either 2 tablespoons of each ingredient or 4 tablespoons if you are going to double the recipe. So I've got soy sauce, I have some grapeseed oil, I have prepared garlic, and this garlic was right out of the jar. And I have 4 tablespoons of dried oregano. And then we're gonna put the tempeh in here, and hopefully you've got 30 minutes where it can marinate, or overnight. In this case, we're going to be using it twice for 2 meals. Okay, so this is what our tempeh in the marinade looks like. And you can leave this in the fridge for several days, but you may notice it'll dry out a little bit at that cold temperature, and feel free to add like 1/4 cup of water to your marinade, because when we cook it, all of that water will cook out in the saute pan. Okay, so we're going to use a variety of peppers for this recipe. First of all, bell peppers are readily available, and we've got a big red one here. Jalapeno peppers is another one that we're going to use. And I even have some fresh green chilies today. These happen to be Anaheim's.
So be careful when you're choosing your hot peppers. If you notice, the Anaheim and the jalapeno look pretty similar, but the jalapeno is pretty hot. The Anaheim, this one's pretty mild, right?
Yes.
I've seen jalapenos that are this big, so just be careful, pay attention to the labels in the store. And for the bell peppers, Debbie has some yellow and some orange peppers here too, and I kind of mix them up. I use them interchangeably in my recipes, and a lot of times it's more for the presentation and the color in the dish as opposed to the flavor, because they have similar flavors.
Okay, so I'm going to take the top of this pepper and the bottom off to slice it, and then pull out the core, the insides. And then bring it out into a nice ribbon. And from there, this is really what I'm looking for, is a nice long flat strip. And in this case, we're going to just be chopping our bell pepper for our carnitas. And that's the size of the cut that I'm looking for.
Okay, next we're going to chop our jalapeno pepper. And we're going to start out chopping this similar to the way we started our bell pepper by cutting off the top and the bottom. I'm going to cut this one in half, and then we're going to devein and deseed the pepper. And I know a lot of people think all of that heat from the pepper is coming from the seeds, when actually the vein has just as much or more heat. So let's make sure we get that out if you don't want all that heat. Now we're going to cut this into a dice just like the red pepper, but we're going to go very small here. And again, we just don't want too much heat in one bite.
Okay, now comes one of my favorite peppers. This is the chili pepper in Anaheim. This is what it looks like in the grocery store, right off of the plant. Depending on the season, sometimes they're going to be much larger than this. They have all different kinds of names. This is in Anaheim, which is one of the milder ones. But my favorite way to buy this is at the farmer's market in the fall. All over town, we have fire roasting baskets, and they throw in bushels, and they're all charred. This is actually the same pepper. And what I do is I bring it home and I put them in Ziploc bags and freeze them, so I have that campfired flavor all year round. In fact, you can even save the water after you've frozen them, and then just drain it in a sieve, and you can throw that into your saute pan. And it's another way too to add a ton of flavor when you're not using oil with your cooking. Okay, so next I'm just going to pull the charred skin right off the chili, and then I'm going to cut the top of the pepper, and we're going to seed and devein them just like we did the other two peppers. And that's mainly for presentation at this point. I feel the heat on the skillet, so I'm going to start by sauteing an onion. So after a few minutes, I'm going to start adding the peppers, and I'm going to start with our smoked and roasted green chilies, because there's a lot of juice. And I kept these fairly large when I prepped them, because I want that, again, that meaty texture when you bite into the carnitas. And then I've got 2 jalapeno peppers that we've deveined and just deseeded. And I'm going to add in some red bell pepper, some orange, a little bit of green, and a little bit of red. Now if your saute pan gets a little dry because we didn't start with any oil, what I'll do sometimes is just splash this with a little bit of water. That's all it takes. So now it's time to add our marinated tempeh. And I'm just going to be adding half of it and putting the rest back in the refrigerator for a meal later on in the week. And I'm gonna probably cook this until it's toasty brown. Total time in the skillet is probably around 20 minutes. And of course, if you want to add a little bit of vegan cheese or diet cheese, if you've got folks in the family that love that, towards the end of this would be a good time to put that in. Cover it with a skillet. for a few minutes, and then we will be ready to serve this all up. Wow, this looks so good. I can hardly wait for dinner tonight.
It really does look delicious.
The only thing I've added are some fresh tomatoes, and we are going to be serving these up on some whole wheat tortillas made by Stacy's here in Denver.
And we have some extra tempeh left over, don't we, Deb?
Yes, we do. We have some tempeh marinating in the refrigerator for our next meal, which is Asian wraps. So please stay tuned. If you like the things that we've been making here, be sure to sign up for our news blogs and check out the links below. We hope you enjoyed our time together.
And if you like cooking with plants, be sure to visit almostvegancookingschool.com and enroll in our online cooking course.
It's all in an effort to heal our bodies, heal each other, and heal our world. One recipe at a time.